We have an exciting agenda today filled with some amazing segments and some updates from the community. So, first, let me share some community updates with everyone. Sam Green spoke at Coinbase Machine Learning and Blockchain Summit. I have not watched it yet, only a tiny bit, and it looked really good. So, definitely something you check out. There's a recording online, and some of my Advocates DAO team members will post some of the links in the chat room, and they will also be shared later on when the recording is published. The Graph participant update for Q1 is available. That was last week. It was a very cool call with all of the main contributors in there. It was very nice to see. I would like to mention that the Graph Advocates DAO has received over 800 contributions from Graph Advocates that are either in progress right now or already completed since the launch of the contributions process in October. Those range from hosting events to translating blog posts to doing community care in several Discords and Telegram channels. So it's very cool to see. And yeah, over 800. That number is growing and growing. And it's only getting more exciting for us. So very good. Then Christina, who is in the call here today, participated in a Twitter space hosted by Connect on how to build a DAO as a panelist. And they posted a recap thread on Twitter. So you could check that out. And hopefully Paolo can talk a little bit about the Eat Lisbon subgraph bounty winners. For the people that didn't know, Eat Lisbon was last week and the graph was there. The hackers built a lot of subgraphs on bounties, and Simon Schmidt posted the bounty winners on his Twitter. So if you're interested in who won at Eat Lisbon hackathon, who built the coolest subgraph, you can check out Simon's Twitter for now. There are a lot of new episodes from the GRTIQ podcast and also from Devs Do Something. We're starting off with GRTIQ. We have episode 113 with Lorena, who is also in the call here today, who is a Graph advocate and member of Graph Advocates DAO, and she also does a lot of work in building and supporting the Spanish-speaking community in the Graph ecosystem with the Graph Espanol. So it's very good. Oh, am I missing sound? Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Is it okay? All right, good. We have episode 114 with Kyle LaRue, who is a Graph advocate and also a member of Graph Advocates DAO. And since joining the program, Kyle has launched multiple community initiatives, such as the Popular Advocates newsletter and other educational content where he looks at subgraphs as well. And we have episode 115 with Denan Preen, who is the co-founder at Float Capital, which is a peer-to-peer asset protocol that provides leverage returns without over collateralizing or liquidations. So it's a bit more technical. And the last one, 116, with Alicia Shavinsky, who is an accomplished business executive, entrepreneur, cybersecurity expert, and author. So those were all the new GRTIQ episodes. And then we have the Dev Do Something episode 40, a deep dive on the graph with Pranav from Edge and Node. So the podcast for this week. As always, the court did a monthly update on the forum and will post you there. I'm hearing myself twice. We will post all the links to those updates in the chat room, and you can read up on them. As always, they are very, very good, but they are also a bit long. So if you are interested in any one of those, please look them up on the forum. Then the last thing for the community updates as a call to action, there are a lot of open jobs at the Graph's open positions page. And of course, we are always looking for people to join the advocates program. We will post the links to those in the chat as well. And a special request from Mickey at Edge and Node. They're looking for a very experienced Rust dev. So if you are a very experienced Rust dev or you know someone that is, please let us know and we will connect you to the right person to get them going at Edge and Node. So thank you so much. And for the first segment now, I would like to invite Petko from GraphOps, and he will speak about three new tools. So Petko, could you take it away, please?
Thank you, Colson. Hopefully my sound is okay. I'm actually gonna share a screen because I've prepared a few slides for today. Second. Okay, hopefully you should be seeing the slides now, right? Can someone confirm that You can see it because I'm not seeing the chat. Sorry.
Yep, everything is. Yep.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Colson. Yeah, so we're going to talk briefly about Graphcast, which is hopefully going to become the Graph's gossip network. I think I've presented it before on the community talk, but that was a few months ago, so naturally some stuff have changed. So let's get right into it. Now, just as a reminder, why do we even need a gossip network in the Graph? So I'm gonna try to explain this with a more real life example. I thought long and hard about what was kind of close to what Graphcast does, but in real life. And I guess the closest I could think of is so when you hire someone to do some work in your house, like a plumber or something, naturally everyone wants that plumber to be a specialist in the fields, to be certified even maybe, or to at least have a good track record or good reviews. Of course, most of these platforms that have reviews or provide certifications are centralized because there's one central authority that can say this person does their job well, this person does their job bad, and so on. Also, people that leave reviews for like restaurants and plumbers and whatever, they can be subjective. Also, the people that are performing the work might lie, like they can have a fake certificate or they can say that they've already worked for 500 people, but in reality have not done any work. So that's kind of the real life example that we can kind of frame our thinking around Graphcast because at its core, Graphcast is a gossip network, and these types of problems are where gossip networks really shine. Because if we had a gossip network in real life, it would be trivial to just check the plumber's work history, like all of their work history. Check what people have said about them and so on, and you know that they can't really lie. How that happens is I think here on the third image, by the way, all of these were generated with Midjourney. I had some fun with them. So on the third image, you can see that a gossip network is this decentralized structure. It's much like it's very very similar to a blockchain. So you have these nodes that are in the network, and they're all sending messages, and they're all listening to messages that other participants are sending, and they kind of forward those messages on to the next participant. So there is no central authority. There's no central point of failure, and the beauty of this is that many rules can be enforced that way. So, like for instance, if someone comes to like fix your like something in your bathroom or something, you can check that they are certified, and you can be sure about that. And you don't have to rely on this central authority, and you know that they can't lie because if they say, "Okay, I've been at 500 people and I've done this job," you know that they've done this job because in the past they've sent a message, "I did my job," and the person that they did that job for also sent a message saying, "Yeah, this guy really did a nice job." So the best way to describe it is Graphcast is a domain specific gossip network. So its base layer is the same as all gossip networks, exactly what we talked about until now. But it's a superset of a gossip network that is geared towards use cases in the graph. Currently, it'll be initially only for indexers, but support for subgraph developers is coming soon, hopefully. And so what kind of information would indexers want to exchange among themselves for free and then automated fashion? Well, I mean, it can really be whatever. But the first application that's built on top of Graphcast is the POI radio. And just to clear up the terms, so the Graphcast network is this whole thing where it's a gossip network and it has all of these participants that are sending and receiving messages between each other. The Graphcast SDK is a software development kit that people can use to build applications that leverage Graphcast under the hood, and those applications are called radios. So that's why on the blog post it says that it's free new indexer tools. In reality, it's more like 1.5. Like the brand new tool is the POI radio, but as a bonus, we've made it we've made Graphcast modular so that other radios can also be built alongside it. So I hope that kind of helps with the framing of how these three things are similar and how they're different. You might wonder why I've added this picture of some beads. The best way to describe it, and it's Graphcast because I kind of wanted to explain what a software development kit is.
We have an exciting agenda today, filled with some amazing segments and some updates from the
mosaic rocks, with which you can then build things. So that's kind of what a software development kit is.
We have an exciting agenda
to help you with understanding what the Graphcast that they did that job for. So also, send when you're doing something with a mosaic, you're not going out to dig the rocks and then start creating something with them. You get the rocks and then you build whatever you want with them. So that's kind of a way to think about the SDK. And I know this is non-technical, but I just thought it would be fun to share. So I loaded the Graphcast documentation, specifically the part about building radios, into GPT-4, and I asked GPT-4 to build a radio that shares onto the network what you had for breakfast. And I think this just goes to show how modular and easy building these radios on top of Graphcast should be. So like right on the first try, and obviously this is not the full code, it has a little bit more boilerplate that I removed, but GPT-4 was able to leverage the SDK to create this radio and define a radio that listens to blocks on Ethereum, and basically, like, if the block is divisible by 3 or whatever the result is, this is something that it made up. It says that we either ate bacon, cereal, toast, or whatever, which was really fun. And now just a bit about the POI radio itself, which is the first application that's built on Graphcast. So it is for indexers to run, and it is supposed to help with the data determinism in the network, because like, as some of you know, POI stands for proof of indexing, and it's basically a hash that the indexer uses to prove that the data that they serve is the same as the data that the other indexers serve. So it's kind of a way to get consensus around that data. So we're not going to get a lot into detail because we're kind of short on time, but that's the basic premise. When they run the POI radio, it sends messages about the individual indexer's proof of indexing, and it listens to other messages coming from the other indexers that are running POI radio, and it compares them. So that way, in real time, you're able to see if your data is, I shouldn't say correct, because it doesn't have a way of verifying that it's correct, but if your data is the same as the consensus data, which really helps to catch issues fast. And what's really important and nice with this radio is that it can be configured to automatically send you notifications when something like that happens. So just 2 words about kind of, because I know I said that the key difference between a blockchain and a gossip network is that the blockchain is like on-chain, and it has transactions that cost gas and all of that, whereas the gossip network is free to use. It's good for things to be free to use, but then, like, how are they, like, how do you prove that it's you that is sending the messages. So we've kind of solved that by having a smart contract which acts like a registry to connect your Graphcast identifier with your on-chain wallet. So like that is the only connection between the Graphcast network and the actual blockchain. So that once you made that connection, then people that receive messages from you, right, supposedly you, they can actually tell that it's you, that it's you, and then every radio defines different means of asserting that the data that a participant sends is correct. It's kind of like that example with the plumber, where if they say that they're certified and they've worked in 500 homes, the radio can confirm that. It's the same with all of these radio use cases. Yeah, so that's about it for today.
Thank you so much, Becca. That was very cool. I really like the fact that you're explaining very technical topics in a way where everybody can understand that. I find that super fascinating. So thank you so much for doing such a good job there. On our next segment, I'm inviting Mac from Graphica to tell us about their recent Graphica hackathon.
Thanks, Carlson. Let me just share my screen. I've also got a little presentation for y'all. Can everybody see it?
I can, yeah.
Cool. Then I'll kick off. So about 2 weeks ago, we had, beginning of 2 weeks ago, we had SG Hack, which was a subgraph hackathon. And over here, you can see a lot of our sponsors and speakers listed out with their lovely logos. So why SG Hack? As you know, SG subgraph hack. It's a nice little cute name. The reason why we started the subgraph hackathon was initially the Graphronauts reached out to me, and we started thinking about ways that we could support and award the students that are going through the masterclass and other prospective subgraph builders. So we thought that having a small mini hackathon specifically around subgraphs would be a great way to kind of give back to them and the community. And through the planning of it, we also were able to collab with amazing teams that sometimes don't get the largest amount of limelight in the ecosystem, to be able to give talks and talk about what they do. All of these teams are either using subgraphs or are indexes or are building around the graph protocol and are in the graph ecosystem. We were able to put together about $8,000 or more worth of bounties, and we were also lucky enough to get some bounties from DAppLooker for dashboards. And the main reason was we want to challenge subgraph developers to build production-ready subgraphs. We'll look through a list of the different bounties and who won and what was submitted. But a lot of people don't sometimes get a opportunity to build production-ready subgraphs, and also be challenged to build one in a week. As we know, sometimes building these large subgraphs can be quite tricky when you've got to sync them. So we really thought that this was a great commitment to the decentralized future and getting some amazing subgraphs built. So first and foremost, I'd like to say thank you to all the speakers and sponsors. We've got a lot of recordings that we are busy working through and just doing some editing on. So in the coming week, we're hopefully going to get that done, and we'll be posting it on YouTube for everybody else to watch if you didn't catch it the first time. Here are some of the speakers that we had, and we're very, very thankful for them that they made time to present to the community. So the subgraph bounties look like this. We had a Uniswap liquidity dashboard bounty. We had a Lens protocol bounty, the NFTX activity update, which was essentially just an update to their current subgraph. We had two Pepe NFT collections that are both historical NFT collections, one being the rare Peperium and the other one being Crypto Pepes. And we also had an open subgraph bounty, as well as 3 DAppLooker dashboard bonus bounties. So I'd like to give it up for the hackers and the teams that were in the hackathon. We had the Subgraph Syndicate with Mike and Don, Scoffy and Gulshan. I'm sure that you know and recognize them. those names, as well as the Apollo team, which is Crypto Beijing and SuperDo. We had a lot of great advocates attend. Team Analyst, Subgraph Dev, which is, as you know, Subgraph Dev, and Bostan, which is Elijah, and lastly Team Fortune, which is Godwin, James, and Aman and Mantas fan. So some of these hackers, it was their first time building a subgraph. Some of them were very experienced, but it was great to see the teamwork and collaboration that came out of it. The submissions that we received were a total of 4 subgraphs. It was for the NFTX subgraph. It was for the Lens protocol. We actually had 2 Lens protocol submissions, and it was very hard to pick a winner, and as well as the Crypto Pepe subgraph. We also received a total of 3 Dapplica dashboards, one of them being for Lens protocol and the other 2 being for the Crypto Pepe's subgraph. How we judged, just to give you a little bit of background, is we really look at the completeness of the subgraph. Are all the handlers implemented, like all the event handlers and call handlers that are available and should be captured, and is the data capture being done correctly, right? So it's not just enough that you build a bunch of handlers. Building out the handlers correctly and capturing that data is quite important. So there was a lot that went into judging and actually just checking the completeness of the subgraphs. We also check for code quality. So reusable functions is a big sticking point for me, so that you don't have the same code being written everywhere else in your subgraph. So building out really nice reusable functions for dealing with your CRUD operations, which are essentially how you create, read, update, and delete entities from your database is very important. And also the implementation of entities in your schema. So how you implemented derived arrays, whether you did, using immutable records, which is essentially immutable entities, building out aggregations, those sort of things. And lastly, we look, does it meet the requirements of the spec? Because we built out specifications for each of these, which were given to the hackers. The winners were the Subgraph Syndicate, which were able to produce an amazing NFTX update for the activity screen, essentially. So it was able to collect data across many different entities, and the whole purpose was to be able to query this from one interface, so that they didn't have to do many different queries for different entities, and they could just query the interface for checking the different activities that are happening inside of the ecosystem. Team Fortune was able to win the Lens Protocol subgraph bounty, which we'll chat a little bit about soon. And lastly, Apollo also worked on the Crypto Pepes and was able to win that bounty. We had 3 Dapplica dashboards, the first going to the Lens Protocol, and then the other 2 going to the Crypto Pepes dashboard. So out of this, we had 3 subgraphs, which are currently, one of them is currently deployed on the decentralized network as of today. So that's great. And the Crypto Pepe subgraph is going to be deployed later this week. We're just waiting for some mainnet deployments to be done, some checks. The NFTX update will also be deployed soon. And lastly, we are working with the Lens Protocol subgraph to get it ready for deployment on the decentralized network. So it's kind of 3.5 updates for the decentralized network, which we're very proud of. And as you know, the Reparium one wasn't initially in after the hackathon to continue the work and to get it through. Having me, and if you want to chat to me, you can find me here and check us out on our website.
Thank you so much for that. It's really cool to see, and especially the amount of effort that went into this, all the collaboration between all of the teams, and seeing all of the graph advocates in there as well. Very cool, and I hope to see this happen again in the future, man. Looks really good. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for showcasing that as well. Great job. For our last segment of the day, I would like to invite Graph Advocate Araujo, who will tell us about an amazing tutorial that he made about Graph Client.
Hello and good morning to everyone. So let me share my screen. So mm, mm, okay. 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 Sure. Yeah. So recently I made the submission of how this was a tutorial. So how to implement a graph client tutorial where you can ask some different queries. In this case, we use ENS and Uniswap to implement our queries in a React application for your users or your clients. So basically, this is a written tutorial where you can find how to do it. So there are some steps. The first step, second step, the third step, there is. So basically, this is a tutorial of how to integrate the Graph client into your React application. So you can find the tutorial on LensTube, and I will share the Graph client tutorial here in the chat. Let me check. This is news for me, so give me a moment. Here is. So I will share this in the chat. So maybe it will helpful if you could share it. I don't know, in Twitter or something to help more people to know how to implement this, because this is really confuses the first time. To be honest, I didn't make this tutorial. The really about this is I start my crypto journey being bounty hunter. So when I saw this bounty, I know a really good developer. I think this he's one of the best developers here in Latin America. So I say something like, "Hey, we need help with this. Could you help me?" So he do it. So this is a really amazing tutorial. You can see step by step how it works. You can, in the part of the ENS queries, you can query a specific domain. Here in the video, he explain this part. Let me search it. Mm, but yeah, so basically you can, in the part of the ENS query, you can ask or you can search for a specific domain, or you can get many domains. So basically you get this part of the ENS queries, and the next part is the Uniswap queries. So basically you have all this part of the last swaps made in Uniswap. So it going to change every 5 seconds approximately. So yeah, there is the this tutorial. So let me share this. So if I um, if I'm not bad, I remember the Advocates Twitter share it. So if you could share it and tag Mel, he is really amazing a developer. So he make the work. So I'm really nervous. Sorry. So yeah, it will help you to your clients, your users, or basically to make a different queries. So yeah, that's it.
Nice. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing the links. So if everybody wants to go more in depth, they can watch the video and they can watch the resource you just shared. So thank you so much for joining.
Yeah, sure. So I'd like to say I don't know how to say it. Sorry. An advice. So if some here is in the graph advocates and so some bounty. and you don't know how to do it, for example, you don't know how to program enough develop something, you can, I don't know, ask to a friend, ask to another people who could make the work. So basically we need to contribute and help other people. So yeah, that's it.
Nice. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think that you see that all the way around the ecosystem as well, right? If we just looked at the hackathon, we see so many people from different organizations working together. So I would definitely agree with that. If we all contribute together, we'll ever make everything better. And talking about contributing together, I just got the notification that we actually have another speaker today. So that's very cute. We have OX Nestor here, who made a three-part series about how the graph and Cello can work together. So could you tell us a bit more about that?
Sure thing. Hello, everyone. Let me first share my screen. Screen one. Okay. Hello, everyone. Do you hear me well?
Yep.
All right, cool. Hi, everyone. Well, yeah, I'm Nestor. Thank you so much. Shout out to Kent and shout out to Araujo. They're amazing work. So yeah, pretty much what I want to share today is one mini graph series that I did together with Cello. So if you want to check it out, that mini series, just scan this QR code. If you want, to go directly to that mini series that is on the Cello YouTube channel, in this one you will learn from scratch in 3 videos how to build one soft graph. First, in order how to set up, the smart contract, and then how to end creating one centralized soft graph. In the second video, I joined together with Simon in order to elaborate more the soft graph in order to deploy it finally. And then on the third video, I do a mobile web application in order how to read the soft graph from your app. So far, those 3 videos, which is this first mini series, has been released for 1 month and has 500 views, and that led me to think into a next project that could be a next series that could involve maybe more folks from the community. I'm very open to work with other folks from the community. I have a chat in the last week with Kent about this, and well, I have just a teaser for pretty much this idea that I have, and yeah, it's gonna be one series for the graph. I think that will be all. Happy to chat with all of you guys with more details about how to do this series. And yeah, popcorn to you guys.
Great. Thank you so much. And yeah, looking forward to that series. And once you're done, I would be happy to share it here. I watched some of the videos about Cello when I was doing the Cello hackathon project at eTokyo. So I watched them then. I thought they were very, very good. So I'm looking forward to that graph series as well. It's going to be amazing.
Nice.
Cool. Those were all the segments for today, everyone. But before we conclude this community talk, I want to remind you that the upcoming Indexer office hours is today at 1800 UTC, and the monthly core dev call is this Thursday at 1500 UTC. Also, don't forget to check the monthly core developer updates on the forum. And by that, I would like to say thank you so much for joining us. And we will now open the floor for Q&A. If there are no further questions, I would like to wish you a great day, and I hope to see you again next month. So thank you, everyone, and goodbye.
You open up the floor and say goodbye.